We're in Bishop, California, and I had a chance to catch up with, I couldn't pass this opportunity up. Bobby Tanner is a man who has maintained history for a lot of years. This is the 20 Mule team behind us. Bobby, they used to haul borax out of the Death Valley 150 years ago, basically, with a setup just like this?
Yeah, what this is a 20 Mule team. These long line freight teams were all over the western United States in the late 1800s and early 1900s. And the most famous one, the most well-known freighting company that hauled with these was U.S. Borax Company, and they hauled their product from Death Valley, the bottom of Death Valley, below sea level, up onto the Mojave Desert, Mojave, California. A 10-day trip each way, and they hauled 20 tons of ore, 10 tons per wagon. So they got 20 mules, 20 tons of ore, 1 ton of ore per mule, and they hauled these. These teams worked for the Borax Company for close to 30 years on different hauls, and this what you see behind us is exactly what it looked like back then. This isn't a modern made-up version of it. Everything is exactly how it was done then. The mules are the same size that they would have used, so it's basically the same thing then as you see now.
You've got 2 wagons and a water wagon hooked up behind the mules. Is that the way that it was set up back in the day?
On some of their runs, they had the water wagon behind it, and other trips they stashed the water wagons at various camps where they did not have water. Some of the camps had springs and some did not, and so in the 1900s up to 1950, the Borax Company had this team out on tour all over the United States, and it was like this with the 2 freight wagons and the water wagon. But the water wagons were crucial for life on the Mojave Desert. They're the most important thing to keep the animals and the mules alive. So they had lots and lots of water wagons, and quite often this is exactly how they were freighting with the ore wagons and the water wagon.
Let me ask you, okay, these are real basic questions, but how long does it take you to hitch these up? The logistics of this whole thing has got to be a little interesting, isn't it?
Well, the logistics for us are very different than the logistics were in the 1800s. When they freighted with these, the mules knew what they were doing. The mules were always near the hitch. The harness is incredibly simple, so it's a very quick process. They had 2 guys that operated these teams. It's a 2-man operation. Probably take them an hour to get harnessed and on the road in the morning. But for us, it's a little different. We're hauling the wagons from one parade to another, and there's a lot of logistics that we deal with that they didn't deal with, but they had a lot of other issues like the harsh desert climate and being 10 days from nowhere with no support. So, but what's there is exactly what you would have seen back then.
The mules actually learn to jump a chain. If they're making a turn or something like that, is that tough to teach the mules to do? How that really works is that the mules are on the inside of a turn, and that chain starts crowding them into something. They find a way to escape that pressure, and it doesn't take them long to learn. They just have to step across the chain, and it gets them away from that chain crowding them in. And whatever it is, the obstacle that's in front of them, they just get to cross over the chain. They pull away from that obstacle, and the wagons magically clear the obstacle. You are keeping a chunk of history alive. Folks see you in the Rose Parade. They see you here in Bishop. They see you in other places. But this is a piece of history I hope we never lose. And thank you for keeping it alive.
Well, thanks. I'm glad that people appreciate it. And it was amazing. We went to the parade in Washington, D.C., and we had these wagons on a flatbed trailer going across the United States. And it was truly amazing. Anywhere we stopped, cars would pull up to us, and they would say, "Wow, the original Borax wagons. I've always wanted to see those." I thought people would come up and say, "Wow, what are those things? What is that?" But it was amazing. We'd be in a truck stop in Kansas, and we'd be there for 20 minutes, one car after another pulling up and saying, I remember these wagons when I was a kid. And so it's an American icon, and people recognize it.
Bobby, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Bobby Tanner, we're joining you from the Bishop Mule Days in Bishop, California with the 20 Mule team.